I will record all things we do, so you will be able to follow it after as well. So I will send you today or early tomorrow, I will send you the link to YouTube and you can find anything in the video. So what I did right now, I opened our previous project where Josef ended up last week. It's over here, and it looks like this probably. So if I'm following right, you finished your USLE calculation, so you already, last week you prepared LS factor, so morphology factor, and you ran the calculation of soil loss, and you ended with such a kind of map like here. I just open in the folder what did you prepared, just to check it. So from last week you did, okay, great, you did LS factor map, it's over here, an example of the map, where on the place we know the soil loss, we was calculating, we can see the intensity of soil loss, and in the rest where the mask was blank, you put there land use behind. So you can see a couple of categories, forest for example, or the water body over here. Sorry, I was talking about soil loss, and this is the map of LS factor, sorry. So this is the LS factor. Then you did it similarly with the soil loss in units, tons per hectare per years. And there is such a kind of detailed map. I don't know what you was actually talking about in this place directly. It's such a kind of detail of the calculation. What I can see it right here, Josef was probably showing you the terraces here. If I just turn off and on again, probably it was just nice place to show you how it looks like when the terraces are there. So the soil loss is very much lower than because of protection, soil loss measures already applied, and compared to part of the land over here, you can see that the intensity of soil loss is very high there. If I turn off it, you can even see from the orthophoto image that the status of the land, of soil, it's somehow lower because of losses of soil in last years, decades, and so. So I'm not exporting more maps than now. If you are interested in, I don't know what you were exactly talking about. If you need it, you know how to export it right now. But let's move more to catchment area and estimate what is the total soil loss within the catchment, because I just switched the project into data view because we will continue with data view. And there can be the question, if we have a watershed like here, sure, we know that in detail, in pixels, green means low soil loss, 4 tons per hectare per year, probably. The red means very high, higher than 20. But what does it mean on the whole watershed? There is a question, what is the total soil loss in Prušanka catchment? Do you have any idea how to estimate the value, total value? If yes, please write it into chat. If no, sure, I will tell you. I just can wait a second if any guesses will appear. In the meantime, let's start with our extensions because we have to turn it on. So customize extensions. And we need 3D analyst and spatial analyst right now. So turn it on, let's close it. And I turn on our watershed boundary as well. And what we need right now is such a kind of statistic evaluation. What I need actually is to count each of pixels in my catchment and just to summarize it. You know, if I zoom in really in detail somewhere on the field size, let's say, so I have a field and I have many of pixels and it tells me, for example, I can just show you if I use this identify button and I will ask for soil loss in over here. So here is 0, here is 2.2, here is 2.9, 399, 4.4, and so. And I have to count it like this value plus this, plus, and all the values. There is for sure tool which is exactly for the situation I described, and it's called zonal statistic. There are 2 of them. Have you been using this tool before? Can you write me yes or no? Have you ever used? I mean, here in our lecture. So guys, are you there? Yeah. First answer, no. Great. I thought, okay, let's start it and explain it. So, zonal statistic. There are 2 of them. The first one is resulted in raster, but we are not interested in this one. We are interested in zonal statistic as table in spatial analysis. So we are interested in results in tables. So let's find out zonal statistic as table and run the tool. And we use we have to define what is our input raster. If I'm just starting to describe in the middle, what is our raster file we are interested in statistic of? What is the zone we have to use, and such a kind of another options. So, what is our zone we are interested in? For sure, it's watershed boundary. So we choose watershed boundary, which is the area we are interested in. We don't need actually just short talk to this. When I open watershed boundary, you see there is only one row, so there is no more areas than only one, so it does not really matter what we use for zone field. So just leave it like this way. And input value raster is our soil loss. And let's rename it. We can leave there zonals st, like a zonal statistic, and we can type soil loss watershed. I can just copy the name of output in our chat, if you can really follow the names. And very important setup is already defaultly done very good. That's the checkbox ignore no data in calculations. Just briefly explain, if there are no data, which in our case means, for example, forests or urban areas, so it means that it ignores no data and it's not counted in the statistics. In case that we did not use this checkbox, and the result will be different, because it will be like there are zeros in all this area, or these empty areas, and you know, if you do the average between, let's say, 100 and 0, the average is 50. But it means in one place it's 100, in another place it's 0, and average is 50. But we are not interested in this way. We are interested in average value in the places where our data calculated are only. So just ensure that the checkbox ignore no data in calculation is checked, and then we are able to choose what statistics types we would like to use. So we leave all statistics, because the result will be table where all these statistics, mean, minimum, maximum, summarize, and so are. So that's our tool. I can just copy it in our chat if you need it, and I run it. Check what happened in our results. It's still calculating. And zonal statistic was done successfully. Be careful right now. If you check the table of contents, it means the box where our layers are, it has been switched to list by source. You know, usually we use the first option, list by drawing order, which means upper layer is visible, lower layer are just hidden. But our results table is not the layer, so it's not visible over here. That's the reason why switching to list by sources, where our source, only one source, is the database. All the layers are stored in our database, and what I can see is zonal statistic over here. I actually can see that you already use zonal statistics, so maybe you just forgot it. So when I open our table, you can see one of the first inputs. So right now I start questioning what, and this type it in our chat. What is the average soil loss of our watershed?